before we dive into the story, ask yourself one question. What if the biggest distractions in your life didn't arrive loudly, but slipped in quietly, disguised as something harmless? This ancient story reveals how a single small indulgence can slowly take over your entire life without you ever noticing. Once upon a time, a great monk lay on his deathbed. As his final moment approached, he called his young disciple, his chosen successor, and whispered, "Remember one thing, never allow a cat into your life." With these strange last words, the master took his final breath. Everyone gathered around was puzzled. The young monk, more than anyone, could not understand. Why a cat? What did the master mean? Even after cremation rituals were completed, this question kept circling in his mind. In the monastery lived an old monk who had spent many years with the master. Though wise, he had not been chosen as successor due to his age and declining health. He noticed the young monk wandering around in deep thought day after day. Finally, he approached him. "You look troubled," the old monk said. The young monk sighed. "Before he died, the master told me not to allow a cat in my life. I don't understand what he meant." The old monk smiled kindly. "Ah, perhaps you don't know the story behind those words. Let me tell you. Many years ago, when the master was young, he renounced his home, his wife, and his children to seek the truth. He settled near a small forest village and lived a simple life. Every day, he went to the village to beg for food. The villagers admired him greatly and even built a little bamboo hut for him. He owned almost nothing, just 2 pieces of clothing. But soon, rats started coming into his hut and chewing them. Distressed, he mentioned it to the villagers. One villager suggested, "Why don't you keep a cat? It will chase the rats away." The idea seemed practical, so the monk accepted a cat. The rats disappeared, but a new issue arose. The cat needed food. The monk found himself going to the village multiple times a day to beg for milk. Seeing this, the villagers offered another solution. "Why don't you keep a cow? Then you'll have milk for the cat and for yourself." The monk agreed, but cows need grass and care. Since the monk spent much of his time meditating, he struggled to fetch grass from the village daily. Again, the villagers came up with a plan. "There is a widow in our village. She has no family and would gladly serve a monk like you. She can care for the cow, the cat, and even the hut. We'll clear some land by her cottage so she can grow grass and vegetables." To the monk, this seemed harmless. The widow moved in. She worked tirelessly, feeding the animals, cooking, tending the garden. The monk, noticing her efforts, began helping her. Slowly, they spent more and more time together, living under the same roof. Their bond deepened. She was young and beautiful, and the monk was still in his youth. Eventually, they developed feelings for each other. Their relationship grew intimate, and soon the woman became pregnant. A few months later, she gave birth to a child. The monk, who once spent entire days in meditation, now labored in the fields to support his little family. One evening, exhausted, he sat quietly and asked himself, "What happened? I renounced everything to seek the truth. Yet here I am, living the very life I abandoned." Only then did he understand. It all began with the cat. After finishing the story, the old monk looked at the young successor and said gently, "When the master told you not to allow a cat into your life, he didn't mean an actual cat. He meant that even a small indulgence, a tiny distraction, can slowly take over your life before you realize it." If we look closely at our own lives, we see the same pattern. We knowingly allow ourselves to do things we're aware aren't good for us. We say, "Just this one time," but that is where the trap begins. Give your mind a little freedom, and it starts wanting more. This is how habits are formed, how addictions begin. Many young people start watching harmful content just once, never intending it to become a habit. Many turn to junk food occasionally, thinking it's harmless. But slowly, these choices shape their health, their energy, and their life. The mind is powerful. When controlled, it becomes your greatest ally. When uncontrolled, it becomes your greatest danger. A mind without discipline is like a fast car without a steering wheel, full of speed, but without direction. This is why the master said what he said. Even he, a great monk, allowed a small indulgence, and that single decision led him back into the very world he had renounced. So the lesson is simple. Never invite the cat of mental indulgence into your life. Once it enters, it grows quietly and takes hold before you even notice. If you value ancient wisdom, self-mastery, and calm strength, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who needs clarity today. Your support helps this channel bring you more transformative stories every week.